Alright, here we go. We're on the play. We get to kick things off with a mulligan. Okay, Sand has one thing going on. Let's see if it's good enough. Doesn't matter where we put this, we're just gonna tune on turn one. Let's grab an island. Alright, let's just play the Rampager for now. Fetid pools could be any number of things, but it would most likely be 4-color energy, if I had to guess. Or maybe a mirror match. Let's see what we draw. Rogue Refiner's fine, I guess. So we are going to let him draw a card with Glint Sleeve Siphoner, but I don't think I just want to run out my Ballista yet. I'll be mana efficient. We're going to be behind on cards no matter what we do here, because we mulliganed and we were on the play. So I'm just going to try to use my mana efficiently and use what the Rampager has given me, which is a leg up on the board. Opponent's also got a Rogue Refiner. Ooh, Constrictor was not a bad draw. Okay, let's think here about what we want to do. Let's start by attacking. I'll just let a trade happen if he wants to. With Rogue Refiner. Okay. And now we get to go... Oh, that was a mistake. I should have waited until after I played the Constrictor to play the Aether Hub so I'd get an extra energy, but hopefully that won't make the difference. But we'll go ahead and take care of this Glint Sleeve Siphoner now. See, this is nice. Just get to make use of tempo, even though he's probably going to be playing more powerful cards than me as this game continues. We might just be able to finish him off before that becomes a problem. So just going to Fatal Push something, it looks like. Take out the Constrictor, makes sense. Alright, let's get in there. Put a counter, and then we'll save it with Blossoming Defense. Continue trying to beat him before he can play something too powerful on us. Of Rogue Refiners. Alright, we'll send with probably just the Rampager here. Don't want to trade off my Ballista anymore. If he goes for a Blossoming Defense, I'll probably just put a counter on Ballista and then kill off the Refiner. Don't want him to be able to stabilize just yet. He's starting to draw out of it though. Is this a big Ballista maybe? Constrictor's fine. And then a Ballista, but we will just... Well, we have to try to blow up the Constrictor here, even though he most likely has a Blossoming Defense. This is where the card disadvantage starts to come into play. We're unable to quite get over the hump there. So my Ballista's gonna... Well, I can try to kill his in turn, but if he has another... Okay. It's not the end of the world. I just have to hope that I draw a little better than him as the game draws on here. Ooh, that was a good draw. Do I want to play it just yet? Probably. Let's attack first, though. There's the risk that he could play something like a Scarab God here, but I think if he had that, he might have played it already. So I'm just going to continue to try to close this game out. Take that, and then cast it. So close now. What has he got? Is this another Ballista? Ooh, a Bristling Hydra. That's pretty good. That's going to be able to block all my guys. Ooh, that's a good draw too. So if I send with everybody, he eats my Rampager, goes to 3. Then I play Hydra. He can trade Hydras. If he has a way to deal with one of these, then he can survive next turn. So I don't know if it's worth it to send just yet. Probably just play Bristling Hydra. Then next turn we can make some attack. Maybe if we draw like a Blossoming Defense or something. Maybe a Ballista. Combat can go a little more favorably for us. And of course he's going to have to reckon with our Hydra. So the nice thing about the more aggressive build of the deck is that Hydra is much better when you're on offense than when you're on defense. Hello. Let us cast that pre-combat. See what's up. If it resolves, it's pretty much game. Yep. I mean, it was probably game anyway. If he didn't have a card in hand, he was just dead to the board, but might as well make it official. Alright, so sideboard gets a little more interesting. Probably going to want to slow our deck down. As good as the Rampager was there, probably don't want to go too deep on it on the draw. I want to play more Haymakers. I can consider Essence Scatter, but it's probably going to be a little too slow on the draw. I want to keep all my Fatal Pushes on the draw as well, but I think I want Vraska's Contempts and Scarab Gods and the Hydra. Probably the Hydra. And what do I not want? Long Tusk Cub gets a little worse on the draw. Maybe I can trim like 2 of those. Try something like this. Appetite only hits Walking Ballista. It was good in the mirror in previous versions of this black-green matchup because of Verdurous Gearhulk, but not so anymore, I don't think. Can consider Duress because there's actually a decent number of targets, most notably Blossoming Defense, and then post-board they've got like their own Vraska's Contempts, but don't know if it's where we want to be. I'm not too familiar with this mirror match. This makes sense to me though. Maybe I want to trim more on Long Tusk Cubs. It does still have the snowball potential if you have like an unanswered Whiny Constrictor, but at that point you're probably winning anyway, right? So maybe I just keep in a couple copies. Rampager is kind of attractive on the draw, but not as much when they're going to be more geared to fight what we're doing. I think I'm just going to try it like this, though not confident that I'm entirely correct. I'll have to go back and read Jerry's article that he wrote on Star City to see what his thoughts on the matchup are. Seems kind of interesting. Don't know if I like it very much. I think I keep though. All our cards are good. If we draw like 1 black source, this hand is great. Or an Attune, of course. Best card in Standard. No 2 for my opponent. Interesting. So I think I'm going to lead off with Glint Sleeve Siphoner, because that at least gives me my energy back from the Aether Hub, even though my 2-drop's probably going to die to a Fatal Push. And I wasn't going to be able to draw cards with it for a couple turns anyway, so even though it will have utility later, I think our hand is good enough to fight a late game. Opponent has their own Siphoner, it's pretty good. Don't have a great way to answer it right now. We can go Constrictor plus Aether Hub to hold up Blossoming Defense, or we can just play Refiner and go from there. Probably just want to play Refiner first. Next turn I can go like Constrictor, Ballista, try to get something going. I definitely don't want to go for like the Ballista, try to shoot Siphoner plan, because he had Blossoming Defense mana up, and that's such a huge tempo loss. What do we have here? Just a Ballista for 2. That's fine. It's not too threatening right now. Oh, he's just going to shoot my Refiner now. That's kind of surprising. Would have thought he wanted to save it for later. Anyway, let's time it correctly here with this Constrictor. After we play it, we'll play the Aether Hub. Then we'll play Ballista. And shoot that Siphoner down. My hand can answer his next threat. Then I get to play like a Siphoner with Blossoming Defense backup if I want. So if this is a Scarab God, yeah, Hostage Taker's fine. Although I guess if he has a Blossoming Defense to protect it, that could be annoying. It's not a bad draw either. Don't think I want to spend my Contempt right now, when there's still blow-up potential of him having his own Blossoming Defense, which it looks like he has. Could attack, use Blossoming Defense, basically trade for his Blossoming Defense and lose my Ballista. I don't love that plan. Probably just going to play Siphoner. I kind of have to let him have that that Winding Constrictor, as much as I don't love it. Because it seems very likely the way he's been playing that he has a Blossoming Defense, so I should play around it. So now I have the active Ballista Constrictor combo going. Yeah, I'll just save whatever he targets here. Don't want that to happen. Now we get to start drawing cards with our Siphoner. Yes. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. We have options now. This Fatal Push presents some interesting options here as well. I think I just want to start by putting a counter on the Ballista and see if he has any responses. No. So let's just send with these two. If he doubles up on the Ballista, I'll just order this Hostage Taker first and let damage happen, because I'm fine with that trade. If he goes for a Blossoming Defense, he gets semi-blown out, but I doubt he will. Alright, so I get Constrictor back and pass the turn. Still have an answer to his next big threat. Assuming we get a window to use this Vraska's Contempt, of course. But he also has to reckon with this Glint-Sleeve Siphoner at some point, or it's going to push me pretty far ahead. Wood Refiner's fine. Another Siphoner, not bad. Let's see here. This could be a good turn to just use a hostage taker. Take his hostage taker. See what he wants to do about that. It'll most likely get a Blossoming Defense out of his hand, and then this Vraska's Contempt will be freed up next turn. So this is fine. Should pass the turn. Looks like the Scarab God, which we're going to have to try to deal with. So I'm not going to be able to draw a card with the Glint-Sleeve Siphoner because I need all my Aether Hubs to produce black mana. So we'll say no. Let's go for a Contempt. Alright, that worked. Good news. Then we want to, I think, send with everybody, actually. This can't really go too wrong for us. Post-combat, we'll just play another Siphoner. I'll just trade for his Refiner. Just because I had the backup ready to go. Now he basically needs to draw like another Scarab God to have a good chance here, which he might have, or maybe a Ballista. But Ballista's not the end of the world here. It's just going to deal with one permanent. Alright, I mean, I guess he does get to take my Siphoner out, but that's fine. Draw. Okay. Swamp. Let's take care of that Ballista now. And he F6'd, interestingly. So we'll chip in. It might come down to who draws the best threat first. I mean, we're ahead on board, but I'm assuming something's going to happen to change the math here at some point. Unless he just straight bricks 2 turns in a row. You never know. So now a Ballista is lethal for us. No any of our Haymakers. Okay, or that's just game. Well, game 1 we won with tempo. Game 2 we won by, I think, just managing our resources well, basically. I didn't see any, like, overt mistakes from my opponent, but I don't know. Interesting matchup for sure. Definitely not the Haymaker fare that Teamer mirrors are. Definitely more enjoyable. So let's get into another match.